Okay, good morning. So we're starting a new siman today. The new siman is Shin Daled, or he changes it to Daled to Shin to change it from a negative word of a shade. Says the heading is Al Eze Eved Mitzuva Shvisosai. So this is a shortish siman, only 3 sifim. We'll take it today and tomorrow, Hashem. But it talks about what you can and can't command your Eved Kanani to do on Shabbos. So says the Mechaber. Before we start the Mechaba, it's kedai to do the Hakdama of the Mishnah Berurah. So if you look in Sif Aleph, we'll go straight into there to start with. In order to make it easy for the person who's learning this siman, Akdim Hakdama Katana. Says the Mishnah Berurah, I'll give a little Hakdama. What is brought out from the Gemara and Poskim. Dihine. Trei kroi ksivi. There are 2 psukim. Chad is lemanyo nuach avducha v'moscha kamoicha. That you've got to make sure that your eved and your amo has rests on Shabbos like you. Zeh koi al eved shemol v'tovel l'shem avdus. That is talking about an eved who had bris milah and was tovel in a mikveh l'shem avdus v'kibla lov kol mitzvahs avodim and undertook all the mitzvahs of avodim. Dahainu kol mashe isha chayeves, i.e. the mitzvah say shazman groma, he is exempt, but everything else is chayev. V'im kein gam mitzvahs Shabbos bichlal, and therefore Shabbos is included in that. V'also lasos melacha b'Shabbos, and therefore this eved is not allowed to do melacha on Shabbos. V'osi haikra la'uriyeh d'shvisas for eved mutal gam al rabbi, and therefore the Rabbi is also he's got to make sure that his eved rests. Shel mitzuva alav lemonoi me'asos melacha, that the Aldain is mechuyev to hold back this eved from doing melacha. Afilu tzarech atzman shel eved, even if he wants to do it for his own sake. So it's you are mitzuva on his shvisa. V'oit ksiv kroven v'ayinafash ben amosecha v'hager, the second pasuk. V'dorshu chazal to koi al eved hakoni liYisrael kinyan guf. That's referring to an eved who is konu kinyan guf, that you actually acquire the guf. Avloid mol v'tovel, but he hasn't yet had bris milah or tefillah. Rak shekibul of shev mitzvah bnei noach. This is an eved Knani who's taken upon himself the sheva mitzvahs bnei noach. To gam lo zeh tzarich rabba lemono menasos melocha avure b'Shabbos, that even that type of eved, that the Aldoin is obligated to hold back the eved from doing melacha on Shabbos. And not only the Aldoin, but even any other Jew is not allowed to command him to do things. To do things for them on Shabbos. But that eved for himself he can do. Because it's not one of the 7 mitzvahs noach. What are the 7 mitzvahs noach? The ways to remember it is Aleph Beis Gimel Dalet and the 3 Averos Chamuros. So the 3 Averos Chamuros is Gilui Rash Shvichas Dama B'Dezara, and Aleph Beis Gimel Dalet is Eiv Melachai, Birchas Hashem, Gneva, and Dinim. That's the way to remember it. So, but Shabbos is not one of them. So he can do things for himself. For dinner keger teishav the einam mushal Shabbos. It's like a din of a ger teishav where he's not commanded to keep Shabbos. But the Yisrael can't ask him to do things for you or for him on Shabbos. The eved hakon Yisrael kinyan guf, and this eved there's a kinyan guf to the Yisrael v'lo mol v'lo tovel, and he hasn't yet had milah tefillah v'gam lo kibul alav afilu shev mitzvah noach, and he hasn't even undertaken that. Okay, so you got 3 categories really. Category number 1 is the eved who has milah and tefillah and undertaken the mitzvahs, and that is covered by the pasuk of lemanyo nuach avducha v'mosecha, etc. And he's got all the halachas of mitzvahs like an isha, and therefore Shabbos is of course included in that. Then you got the second category of yinofash ben amosecha v'hager, which refers to an eved who has not had milah and tefillah, but he's undertaken the shev mitzvah noach. And then he can do whatever he wants for himself, because Shabbos is not included in that, but you can't instruct him to do things like any other akum. And then you've got the last one where he has not even taken upon himself the shev mitzvah noach. Okay, now with that Hakdama we can now see the Mechaba. Says the Mechaba, Adam tzuva al shvisas avdoi, a person is commanded to make sure his eved keeps Shabbos, doesn't do melach on Shabbos. Shemol v'tava l'shem avdus. We're talking about an eved who has had milah tefillah l'shem avdus. For kibbul of mitzvahs hanagas ka'eved, and he keeps all the halachas of an eved, like we said, which is the same as an isha. But if he hasn't yet had milah tvila, ela kibul alav shev mitzvah noach, that's category 2. Haru kager toishov. He can therefore do malacha for himself, but he can't do it for his Rabbi, or as we're going to see, for other people. Nor can he do it for other Yisraelim, even if it's not his Rabbi. Okay, let's do the Mishnah Berurah till there. Base al shvisas avdai. The mitzvah al rabbi l'shamrei u'lemona me'asis malacha. The Adon has got to make sure he doesn't do malacha, even if it's for his own benefit, because this eved, he's got the same dinim as an isha. That means he's got to keep all the lois asay. He's got to keep all the assays apart from Shazman Groma, but Shabbos is included in things he's got to keep. So that's a mitzvah on the Adon to be meinea, to hold back this eved from doing malacha. You are, however, allowed to rent out your eved to an Ein Yehudi during the weekday, as long as you stipulate clearly in the contract that he can't work on Shabbos. Because behema in ways is stricter. The mavur le'el b'siman reishim and vav sif gimel the also laskir le'ein Yehudi b'chiyah gavna. You can't rent out your behema to an Ein Yehudi that he can work during the week but not on Shabbos. The Ein Yehudi never al kach, because the Ein Yehudi is not believed that he won't work him on Shabbos. The hoch Ein Yehudi lo yasem melocha bal karcha shel eved. Here with the eved is about Bardea, and he'll say, I can't work on Shabbos. He's believed on that. So therefore the Chazal allowed him to be rented out for weekday work. Okay, Gimel, Hanagas be'eved, Dahanu comments to She'isha Chayeves, like we said. Harihu Ger Toishav Mikri Kol, Shekibul Alov L'kaim Shev Mitzvah Ne'ach, V'shelo Laved Avodas Gilulim Afilu B'shituf. He keeps all 7 Mitzvah Ne'ach, and he doesn't serve Avodah Zarah Afilu B'shituf, even in partnership with others. For example, in Christianity, there may be the Trinity that you could you could serve God, but in partnership with other entities. So even that he's got to undertake not to do. Hey la'atzmai, haynu meleches atzmai, work for himself. Could go into fear of stitching his own clothes, v'tikun min olah, fixing his shoes, v'chayetzi b'odeh. Oisha listaker, or he does it for his own profit. Kadei sheyulam zerosa b'revach yesa al hafsakas adonov. He'll have a little bit more than what his what his Rebbe, his Adon gives him. Avaloi Rabbi, but he can't do anything for his Rebbe, his Adon. Hainu afilu lo tzivah Rabbi behedja, even if the Rav doesn't command him specifically to do it. Al melocha gam ken osa. The mistama al das Rabbi Yoisa, because mistama is doing it for his master. The Torah specifies you can't do that. We said above. And even a drabanan you can't do for his Rav or for any other Jew. And there we're makel if he didn't command him and he went and did it, then we're not machmer if it's only a drabanan. Also lechal Yisrael, and no other Jew can also instruct him to do things. Hainu minat Torah, the given the kvakibel alav sheva mitzvahs, lekula alma hainu din der teishav the osro Torah Yisrael asas malacha al yodei, that he can't do malacha for another Jew. Okay, adkan. Now let's carry on the mechaba. Ve'im loy kibel alav. We're 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down, halfway through. Ve'im loy kibel alav shum mitzvah el adayin hu kuti gomer. If this is the third category we had in the Akdama, that he's just a kuti gomer, dinay shavel lekabel alav sheva mitzvahs. And then he's got a din of someone who's as if he's mekabel sheva mitzvah ne'achol. If he's at tzarchei chayle she'em esakana de kaimelon oimelehim. For example, for a sick person who's aim sakana, it's not life threatening, of course, but it's a chayle she'em esakana. You're allowed to tell any Yehudi to do work or to do things for him. The non-Jew can involve himself with the kfura of the mace on Yontav Rishon. Also, but you can't tell the Eved Yisrael to do that work, even if it's Eved Avedis Kilulim. To kiven the nechsa Eved Asrum in Torah, we don't allow it if there's no pikuach nefesh. V'yesh cholkim matzirim bezeh. Okay, let's just do the Mishnah Berurah there. Ches v'im loy kibel rotzuleima. To who adin gamkein im loy kibel olav shum mitzvah, even if he's not makabel any mitzvah. Afilu hachi kiven shehu Eved Yisrael hakonu lekinyan guf. Since his konu kinyan guf to the Yisrael, sfir leile de'azu the din shavel lekabel olav shev mitzvah. He's got the same din as a person, as an Eved who is keeping all shev mitzvah. But also lasses malacha b'shvil shum Yisrael, and therefore he can't do any malacha for a Yisrael. Loma le'eved Yisrael test the dafka mir l'stamin Yehudi she'ein el shvus hitiru b'dvarim elu. Aval be'eved ein Yehudi, but for this eved who's non-Jewish el Yisrael Hashem matzir elav min haTorah ein lehetel b'kuach nefesh v'yesh chalkim u'matzir b'zeh hainu b'zeh sho eved hu nachri gomor. In this situation where the eved has not undertaken the Sheva Mitzvah Noach and he's considered like a nachri gomor, afilu hachi svir leila dei harishona to shavel a couple of Sheva Mitzvahs. Also afilu Yisrael acher lema le'lasis v'lemelacha. And on that point they argue is here we only forbid to do melacha to the Rab. All right, we've got 1 minute. Let's just do one more line. Okay. When we call Makamim, you know, it's we're going to rush it. We'll do this. We'll finish it off tomorrow. So just to summarize, in the Hagdama we've said there are 3 types of an Eved. One is an Eved who has undertaken to, he's got the same dins of an Isha, and therefore he's chayav in all the mitzvahs. You can't ask him to do any work. He's because that's caught by the pasuk of Lemanyo Nuach Avtucha V'Moschel K'Mecha. Then you've got the one who's V'Nofesh Ben Amosecha, he's Shev Mitzvah Nuach, and then you've got someone who's not even that. And now on that we're arguing. Okay, we'll summarize more tomorrow, and then we'll finish off this Siman tomorrow.
Okay. Just on time.